Okay, there's a question here about an event that's happening in Bradford. There's numerous speakers invited. It seems to be like an Ahl Hadith conference. And from the speakers is a man by the name of Adnan Abdul Qadir. In fact, I mentioned him in the lecture. Adnan Abdul Qadir, Suhaib Hassan, and a few others I'm not familiar with. I already mentioned in the lesson Adnan Abdul Qadir, and he is a man who's been refuted by many of the scholars. He was refuted by the committee of major scholars for a book that he wrote back in 2000 on an issue of creed, on an issue of to do with Iman. This is by the committee of scholars. In fact, he's been refuted on fiqh issues, like even he, for example, and obviously that's the least of affairs, he gave fatwas which are really don't really have any basis. For example, that you can pray, you can follow an imam, for example, by watching the TV. Like in Salah, for example, right? Sheikh Albani has some speech against him on that. Many scholars have spoken against him, Sheikh Fawzan, and he has many calamities, many calamities, and he is from the group called Ihya at-Turath, right, in Kuwait. There's him, Adnan Abdul Qadir, Abdurrahman Abdul Khaliq, there's Adnan Arur. All of these people, they have calamities with them, serious issues. And this, we are speaking like 15, 20 years ago. So the fact that these people are surfacing now, like after 15, 20 years, when there are many new people in the da'wah, in Salafiyah, and trying to learn, and they come across these names, they've never heard these before. But these are these are affairs which are done and dusted and finished and over and clear as daylight, from 15, 20 years ago. So this man, Adnan Abdul Qadir, like I said, this group, Ihya at-Turath, and their big sheikh, Abdurrahman Abdul Khaliq, he's a takfiri, who tried to bring the poison of Hassan al-Banna, Sayyid Qutb into the ranks of the Salafis by way of this organization. He was refuted by many of the scholars, Sheikh Albani, Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh Hamd al-Najmi, Sheikh Rabi, many scholars actually refuted many of his exaggerations. In fact, Sheikh bin Baz wrote a specific nasiha stroke refutation of many of his points, and they're available. You can go to ikhwanis.com, the website, and you'll find all this information on there. So him, Adnan Abdul Qadir, Adnan Arur, all of them, they are part and parcel of the same kind of network of people. They spread these kind of shubuhat. They give fatwa other than the fatwa of the people of knowledge. They have mistakes in creed. So many calamities that we could mention. He has good words about Sayyid Qutb, Adnan Abdul Qadir, recommend or speaking well of his tafsir, Fi Dhilal al-Quran, which is a book of misguidance. It's a book of takfir, khuruj, ash'ariyah, i'tizal, tajahhum, wahdatul wujud. So there are many calamities upon calamities, and this is the individual who's coming to lecture the people, right? So this is his condition. Likewise, Suhaib Hassan, is from the people who's upon the Ikhwani manhaj. These are the types of people that they play with the fatwa of the great scholars, right? Like about when the great scholars, when they speak against Ikhwan al-Muslimin and Tabligh and say that there's only one group which is upon the truth, they don't like that these fatwa are then heard by the people in this country. They show one face over there, and then in this country they show another face, right? So the Ahl Hadith in this country, they are Ikhwanis, they are not upon Salafiyah. They're upon the Ikhwani methodology. It is about gathering numbers of people, giving them just general basics, good manners, whatever. But they don't teach them like the things that you would find, that characterize and distinguish the Salafi methodology. They have cooperation with the Hizbis, with the politicians, they mingling with the people of bid'ah. Everything you see, you can't see the Salafi methodology with these people or in their masajid, right? It's just confusion. So my advice, this is very brief, is that you should not attend these gatherings or these places. You will just be confused. You will be led to confusion. And you will not be taught clarity, you will not be taught the correct creed, you will not be taught the correct principles, you will not be taught to love and hate on the basis of the truth, right? It will just water everything down, lead you to confusion, teach you false principles, and then they'll speak ill of the people of truth as well, right? So you get caught up in that web of confusion and lies and deception, and it'll be hard for you to pull yourself out, right? Stick to the well-known scholars of the past and the present, Sheikh bin Baz, Sheikh al-Albani, Sheikh ibn Uthaymeen. Don't be deceived by the fact that these people mention the names, right? Because this is the way of all the people of falsehood, right? They will attach themselves to Ibn Taymiyyah or Ibn al-Qayyim or whatever, but they are far, far, far away from the actual methodology of these scholars, right? And they won't take the same positions as these scholars took, right? So all the scholars spoke against Ihya al-Turath, right? And what do these people do? They take money from Ihya al-Turath. They're cooperating with Ihya al-Turath, like the Markaz Ahl Hadith in Birmingham and whatever. Right? They have collaboration, cooperation, and funds and money going backward and forward. It's money, right? Whereas what the ulama have said, that this, they've spoken against this group and the figureheads of this group. They use their money to fund, places to then spread their poison. You shouldn't be deceived by any of that. So this is what I can say, like very, 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 very briefly. You've heard what's in the lesson and the lecture today, very, very clear. Stick to the scholars of the truth, stick to the people of the truth, avoid innovation, avoid hizbiyah, avoid confusion, and you'll be safe in your religion, inshallah ta'ala. But this man, Adnan Abdul Qadir, his affair is very, very famous, very, very well known. He's been amply refuted for so many calamities and mistakes, going all the way back from the 90s, early 2000s up until it's all there. So once that's clear, then you just avoid that confusion altogether. There's some questions here. What is the correct position? Other words, Hizbi and innovator interchangeable? It depends. It varies. Hizbi is more. These are a Hizbi is someone who has the Hazzab. The Hazzab, his partisanship, his affiliation is upon other than the truth, right? He has the Hazzab, right? So his basis of friendship and uniting with people is upon other than the truth, right? So this is very general. So what is that the Hazzab built upon? What statement, what innovation, what methodology is it built upon, right? So whoever is an Ikhwani is a Hizbi, and he has the Hazzab to the manhaj of Ikhwan, right? So as for whether he's an innovator or not, Mubtadi', then that varies. Not everybody who is upon innovation is necessarily a mubtadi'. He could be sahibu bid'ah, right? He could be acting upon an innovation that he doesn't know, the proof hasn't been established upon him. It depends on the type of innovation as well. If it's a very well-known, clear innovation that we know historically has been, become very clear, that person is clearly a mubtadi'. If someone is a Ikhwani, is a mubtadi'. Someone is a Jahmi, is a mubtadi'. Someone is a Mu'tazili, is a mubtadi'. These are very, very clear, apparent innovations that have become absolutely clear to everybody. It's common knowledge, right? The Ikhwan, Tabligh, Tahrir, Jahmiyyah, Sufis, Ittihadis, Hulul, some of them actually fall into kufr even, right? So any of the well-known, clear, apparent innovations whose affair has been already made clear, then those people are, they are innovators. But the word Hizbi is general. It means the Hazzab, to a doctrine, to a group, to an idea, to a statement, to a belief. So it requires a bit more, clarification. What is your advice regarding This is a question that came up, I think, your advice regarding Sulaiman al-Ruhaili. I believe it's mentioned here, and I think this is the sheikh who's been invited by some people in the UK. These are the people who are inviting Sheikh Sulaiman al-Ruhaili. In fact, there's two things here. The first thing is that we mentioned already previously that the Sheikh has not taken the correct stance with respect to the people of fitna, people of schisms, the people of splitting, which is Muhammad bin Hadi and his followers, who basically attack students of knowledge, call them names, slander them in the masajid of Allah, cause splits all over the Arab world, the Western world, right? The scholars like Sheikh Rabi', Sheikh Ubaid and others, they clarified the misguidance of Muhammad bin Hadi, right? And Muhammad bin Hadi has been convicted in a court of law in Medina, right? For slandering a Muslim in a mosque from the mosques of Allah Azza wa Jal, right? This conviction is in a court of law. In fact, 10-11 years earlier, there was another court case against Muhammad bin Hadi, this time by Ibrahim al-Ruhaili, right? And I can actually read it to you if you wanted me to read the hukm, the actual official statement from the court, the criminal court in Medina, right? Where he basically, what happened is Ibrahim al-Ruhaili is a man who entered into things that he does not understand, right? He entered into affairs that he's not fit and capable of entering into. And he also spoke some very strange things. He spoke about, Jahm bin Safwan, and he tried to belittle the affair of Jahm bin Safwan. And so as a result, the scholars in Medina, they refuted him. Sheikh Rabi refuted him, Sheikh Ubaid refuted him, spoke against his major severe mistakes in this field, right? However, when Muhammad bin Hadi refuted Ibrahim al-Ruhaili, he fell into excess and he fell into extreme, right? As a result of which, Ibrahim al-Ruhaili took him to court. So this went into a court case, right? And as part of the court case, as part of the resolution of the court case, Muhammad bin Hadi signed an agreement in which he agreed certain things, that he will not speak about people again, and he will not this and not this, whatever. The actual document is already published online, the actual court ruling. This is going back in 2011, 2012, right? So there's some history for you there. Then 2016, 2017, he's doing the same thing. He's inventing labels, Sa'afiqa, this against students of knowledge, attacking them, speaking ill of them. He's even undermining like Sheikh Rabi and things like that. And, he caused splits all over the Muslim world amongst the ranks of the Salafis, right? Now, two individuals in this country who played a role in this fitna of creating and spreading these splits, two individuals, they're both from this country. One is by the name, you've heard of Salafi events, Asif Shabir, I believe his name is, another one called Yasir Rahman. These two individuals were there in Medina, in Saudi, and they were stoking this fitna, right, of Muhammad bin Hadi, and using it in order to attack Salafis in this country and create these, splits, right. However, they failed in 2017, 2018, and what they've done now, these are the same two individuals, right? What they've done now, they've set up a new organization called Masjid Umar, or something like this. I don't know where Masjid Umar is. Does it even exist? This is the way of these people. They have nothing on the ground, right? There's no mosque. There's no markaz. But you buy a domain name and you set up a company with Company's House and you call it, whatever you want to call it, right? Masjid so-and-so, markaz so-and-so. But on the ground, there's actual, as far as we know, Allah knows best, there's actually nothing there even there. So you create an impression that there's some substance of some masjid or markaz, when there's actually nothing even there. It's just all online kind of, it's a domain name and like a legal kind of, organization or something. And so in a way what's happening, there's two things that are really going on here. The first thing is that Sheikh Sulaiman Ruhaili has not taken the correct position against Muhammad bin Hadi as he should have, despite being advised in person in the house of Sheikh Rabi with all the evidences, right? And even after Muhammad bin Hadi has been convicted in a court of law for some of the crimes that he fell into, as well as many other things that he fell into as well, despite all that, he's not taken the correct position, right? That's one thing. But at the same time, in a way, he's also being a bit misled and deceived by these individuals as well, right? These mischief makers. And in a way, for them, it's like, in a way, they are kind of disrespecting the Sheikh as well. Like, from their point of view, it's like, in a way, you're trying to make it as if, yes, we have been in the dawah for 10, 12, 15, 17 years, and they're giving this fake impression to the Sheikh that, you know, that somehow they are like being in the dawah for 15, 17 years, organizing dawah, have durus, have this, have that, whatever. If you read the website of these people, the Masjid Umar website, like, they've got an about page, and in there you can see many, many exaggerations and things which we know to be not true, or at least they are embellishments to make the picture look better than what it actually is, right? So they are inviting the Sheikh over here without him really knowing the whole history and the realities, right, of what's going on. So in a way, they themselves are kind of deceiving the very Sheikh that they are inviting over here to help fulfill agendas that they already have, right? They are already unhappy about the Muhammad bin Hadi fitna, right? They never got their way. They are angry. They are jealous. They want to. So this really is like, it's basically them trying to just stoke up the schisms again, and try to split the dawah and try to get people to go in that direction by deliberately creating this confusing kind of scenario, confusing circumstance, right? That this, Sheikh who's got knowledge is going to come over here, right? And then it's a deliberate way of kind of polarizing people. They know what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing, these individuals, right? They know exactly what they're doing. So, in other words, this is like, really, it's a mixture of two things, right? And our position is the position of the people of knowledge who've spoken with evidence and with truth.
Allahu Akbar, Allah, Rasulullah, ala salam, Allah, illallah.
So as I was saying, that it is a mixture of two things. First of all, is that the positions that should be taken have not been taken, and secondly, is that it's also an element of these individuals who are known for mischief, that they are deliberately stoking these problems. They know exactly what they are doing and why they are doing it. They know exactly why. And so for that reason, what you're going to see is that this will be a gathering place or an amalgamation. Everybody who historically has had problems or grievances, or they've got jealousies, or they've got grudges or whatever, all these people are going to gather, and you will see all the Hizbis, you'll see all the people, historically who were with Al-Ma'rabi, like the Brixton people, the Luton, you'll find all these people gathering, in this conference. It'll be a gathering place of everyone who's had a problem with the people of the Sunnah in this country, who have expended many, many efforts over, numerous decades to try to unite the people in this country upon the Sunnah, upon Salafiyah, upon love of the scholars, upon love of clarity, whatever. You are going to see everyone who's had a historical grudge, a grievance, hatred, worldly kind of difference, worldly issues, whatever. They're the ones who are going to be rallying around in that direction, right? And the people who've organized this, they know exactly what they are doing, these individuals, right? You go to their organization, markaz, whatever it might be, you see that they, basically this organization they've set up is to camouflage that this is really a Salafi events. Like, you know, Salafi events, the organization that they set up many years back in order to, you know, push their agenda. Well, they've changed the name so that no one can link this to Salafi events, because everybody knows that Salafi events, even when they split the dawah in East London with MH Bay, right? Even MH Bay had to get rid of these guys. That tells you something. This Salafi events, even they had a splitting amongst themselves, so they went their own way, right? So what they've done is they've made this new name for this new masjid, which I don't know where this masjid is, what the address of this masjid, or where this physical building is. You know, it seems to be just like a name and a corporation. Allah knows best. So they've made that to hide and to camouflage the fact that this is really a Salafi event, so to speak, right? And that's why they've taken a new name. And even when you look at the directors of the people who are on the company, right? They've got their own brothers to be the directors, right? So you won't see Asif Shabir on there. You won't see Yasir Rahman. You see the brother's name and the brother's name. All of this is an attempt to hide who are the real, like, you know, who are the real people behind this new organization, to hide the fact that this is just like Salafi events coming again to basically, you know, to stoke again the issue of Muhammad bin Hadi, the Sa'afika fitna, whatever. And that's what they're doing. They know exactly what they are doing. So in a way, like what I'm saying, in a way that even from their point of view, like, you know, they see Sheikh Sulaiman Ruhaili as an alim or whatever. He is an alim. He's been spoken of, you know, well by scholars. We don't deny that. From their point of view, it's a bit like disrespectful to use the Sheikh in this way for their machinations, and that's going to bring harm to the Sheikh. This has happened. We've experienced this many times before over the past 2-3 decades in this country, right? Where people have fallen into snares without even realizing and end up harming themselves, right? So the position that we are explaining, first of all, is the people of knowledge who have explained that when a person does not take the correct and true positions where the evidences have been established, then we take caution from that person. We're not saying that person is Allah al-Mubtadi'. This is a kadhib that these people are spreading. They're trying to, you know, spread the slander that we are making. Nobody's making tabdiyah. No one has made any tabdiyah. And we said that sometimes, even from a person who is a person of the sunnah, he can fall into a statement or a belief or an action or a behavior or a conduct or taking a position which in itself is wrong and requires something of caution. This does not necessitate in any form or fashion that you have now declared this person to be a deviant, misguided, no. But it's just something that in this issue, just be a bit cautious. That's all it is, right? And so we don't attend that gathering because we know what the intent behind this whole gathering is. It is to cause splits and schisms and to polarize people, and that's what the intent of it is. And the Sheikh himself might not even be fully aware of what these individuals, you know, whose corruption is already known and established, because they are known to us in this country and their deeds are known to us in this country. So in a way we are even being more kind and merciful, you know, to by making these things aware, because they're the ones who are going to harm the Sheikh more than anything else. You know, so that's what I can say very briefly on this issue. Inshallah, I'll break for prayer now. Inshallah.
Just do a quick clarification. That some people are spreading the news of the Khatib al-Arafah is one from the senior scholars of Saudi Arabia, which obviously is not.
Say again.
The Khatib al-Arafah, the one that's calling to the
Yeah.
unity of the Waqfatul
Yeah.
Adyan, one of the senior scholars of Saudi Arabia, which obviously is not. So
The brother mentioned. The brothers mentioned the Khatib of Arafah who gave the khutbah at Arafah this year, and he unfortunately made some comments about dialogue, with religions and so on and so forth. And this is a mistake, because the people of knowledge have already explained that when you start speaking about the hiwar al-adyan, where the religions come together and they have this dialogue and speech with each other, this is the starting point of wahdatul adyan. It's a call to the unity of religions. The only dialogue is, that we call them to, as occurs in the ayah, ta'alaw ila kalimatin sawa. Let us come to a common word between us, that we worship none but Allah. Right? This is what is the point of discussion. You need to abandon all what you are worshipping and worship only Allah. This is the only starting point of any dialogue. It's the basis of the dialogue. If this is not the basis of the dialogue, and you want to just speak about, understanding between the religions and dialogue between the religions, this is the starting point of the unity of religions, and the ulama have spoken about this. So just because he is the Khatib of Arafah, that does not give him the status, or does not mean that everything he says is the truth and is correct. Right? So, this is an erroneous statement. It's an erroneous thing to call to, and the station he is in does not make his statement to be correct. Allah knows best.